Good evening, Crown Nation. Welcome to Rock the Crown. It's so exciting to see you all tonight because tonight we are doing our community life segment on You Win, We Win. Now, we've heard this term in so many different ways. We've heard it in she win, we win, they win, we win, because they can, we can. And all of it is really centered around community life and really how when one person's success is a success for all of us. So again, tonight we are going to be talking about you win, we win. Not only are we going to be highlighting specific people in specific areas, but just maybe also giving you some information on people maybe that you don't even realize that are Muslim in the broader community. So Nefertari, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? So we're going to be talking in various topics today. One is politics. The other, we're going to be highlighting people who have focused on relationships with counseling. We're going to highlight some of our Muslim youth on the move. We've got a lot of young people who are doing great things. So we want to just give some shout out to them. And then we're going to just kind of highlight a few businesses who are in business doing great things as well. And we know that we have a lot of people who are, we talked about business last week. We have a lot of people who are starting new businesses and people who've been in business, people who are flourishing, and we definitely encourage that. We also are going to talk just a little bit about some of our social services, some of our community nonprofits, and we've got two on the docket for today. And so we're going to get into politics a little bit. And, politics is really very important. When we think about our communities, we think about the world at large. We are slowly, I would say, as an African-American people, understanding the importance of just, climbing that ladder and being more at the top of the chain and helping in the decision-making of, our cities, our towns, the world, America.
Yes.
And so we really have to, pay more attention to that. And so we have more American Muslims in politics now who are very engaged. We have more Muslims who are actually registered to vote more now than we did. There was a poll for 78% now versus a 60% back in 2016. And so one of the people that I want to highlight is Keith Ellison. He was, he was born in 1963. He's an American politician, of course, and he was he's a representative for Minnesota's fifth congressional district from 2007 until 2019 here recently. So he also served as a deputy chair on the Democratic National Committee from 2017 to 2018. And he's a vice chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus and a chief deputy. And so he also sat on the House of Committee of Financial Services, and he was the first Muslim to be elected to Congress. First African-American representative from Minnesota. Right. So kudos, shout out to him. That's wonderful. And so we have many more, of course, where they came from. And like I said, we're really beginning to develop more and more in that area, and it's very important.
Right. And so an important thing also to notice that we actually have 4 Muslims in Congress. We've never had a Muslim in the actual Senate, but 4 Muslims in Congress. And those are kind of the ones that we're going to be highlighting today. And we also know that there are Muslims all across all of the individual cities, but we would love for you all to maybe send us some information so that we can highlight some of those individuals, because we know that on local levels, Muslims have really been, again, engaging. But we also want to talk about Mr. André Carson. Mr. André Carson was born in 1974. He's an American politician serving as the U.S. representative for Indiana's 7th congressional district since 2008. He is a member of the Democratic Party. His district includes the southern 4/5 of Indianapolis, including downtown Indianapolis, and he became the dean of Indianapolis's congressional delegation following the retirement of Representative Pete Valinsky in 2021. It's also important to note that Mr. Carson is the grandson of his predecessor, U.S. Representative Julia Carson from 1938 to
Wow,
2007.
that is
And
awesome.
so, yeah, basically after her passing, her office triggered a special election, and Carson was the second Muslim to be elected into the United States Congress following Keith Ellison in 2006. So Ellison came in 2006, and Andre came in 2007. And these gentlemen have been serving our country under their title as Muslims for basically several years. And we want to also
Mhm.
make sure that we kind of give them their props in that, because we know that it's difficult to kind of serve in those capacities and then still have to kind of, as we would say, ride the line
Mhm.
between your own personal thoughts and ideas, as well as the agenda that the American people have put forth for you as a leader. And who
Mhm.
else do we have on there?
Well, I have Rashida Harbi Tlaib. She's an American politician. She is a U.S. representative for Michigan's 13th congressional district. She's been there since 2019. And this district, it includes the western half of Detroit. And so along with several of its western suburbs and many more down the river area over there, she's been a member of the Democratic Party. And so she represents the 6th and the 12th districts of the Michigan House of Representatives before her election to Congress. And so she won the Democratic nomination for the United States House of Representatives seat for Michigan's 13th congressional district. And she also ran unopposed in the general election and became the first woman of Palestinian descent in the Congress. And so she's the first Muslim woman to serve in the Michigan legislature, and one of the first two Muslim women that was elected to Congress. So she's a member of the squad, okay?
Ah, I love it.
Member of the squad, which is an informal group of 6 um, uh, until, let me see, until the 2020 elections. And so she's the US representative for the left wing of the Democratic Party.
Right.
And so kudos to Miss Rashida, highlighting her.
Okay. And another member of the, as they would call it, the left wing, because basically left wing just means that you're not in alignment with what they think. But one of the other members of that is Miss Ilhan Omar, who was actually born in 1982. She is an American politician serving as a U.S. representative for Minnesota's 5th congressional district. And let me just say, Minnesota is shooting out all kind of politicians, not just even Miss Ilhan and Keith Ellison and Mr. Carson, but also several judges there. And if I'm not mistaken, Minnesota has the largest number of Muslim politicians in the United States, period. So let's shout out to Minnesota for that. But she also has been on there since 2019. She's a member of the Democratic Farmer Labor Party. And I know we're throwing out all these titles, but these are important titles that everyone should know. So it just goes to show you how intricate the different levels of political aspirations we can kind of go to and be a part of. But before her election to Congress, Omar served in the Minnesota House of Representatives from 2017 to 2019, representing part of Minneapolis. Her congressional district includes all of Minneapolis and some of its suburbs. She has served as the whip of the Congressional Progressive Caucus and has advocated for living wages, affordable housing, universal health care, and student loan debt. And if you look at any of her posts on Twitter, this is exactly what she's talking about every single day. She is also for the protection of deferred action for children arrivals and abolishing the U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. And this is, of course, comes because of some of the things that she's had to endure, as well as people that she knows has had to endure. But she has strongly opposed the immigration policies of the Trump administration. And all of that other stuff that he did. And we're not even going to bring his name up anymore. But she is the first Somali American, the first naturalized citizen of African birth but she's also the first woman of color to represent Minnesota in the United States Congress. So shout out to Ilhan Omar. So those four individuals who are the politicians that we are going to be highlighting today. And something that Nefertari learned today. Nefertari, you kind of want to tell a story about how we also have to kind of be selective in terms of like highlighting some of even our local officials.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes, when you have people in the political fields and, they have these jobs that, they're pretty high up in stature, they really have to protect their families in all kind of ways. Things happen, and even when you think about just the court system, whether you're a lawyer or judge or whatever, it's like you really have to these people are serving for our country, really. And things can happen. We hear a lot in the news about different things happening with people's families, whether people are getting killed or hurt really bad because of something that's happened in the court system that when people get angry and they want to just go after whoever it is. So a lot of times the officials, whether you're a judge or lawyer or whatever, that can happen. And so we we're just kind of highlighting people on the higher end of what people already know, but we have a lot of people who hold positions in those other areas that are very important, when we talk about the system itself, the legislative system. And so that's really important. So I would say just continue, in the system of, the law system, being a judge. We have judges that we know here in Atlanta as well. All over the United States, there's somebody knows that are there. And so, they do have to protect their families. So we wanted to highlight some, but we chose not to do that today. But just to kind of share a little bit of information to say that, they're doing good works, and we commend them for that.
Right. And again, knowing that the political arena is a difficult arena for anyone. I know that people, we always do these broad strokes of like, oh, if I was this, but you're not, you know what I'm saying? So just really respecting the position that they have and and just hopefully respecting that the decisions that they're making, there's a broader perspective. We have such a small perspective in terms of like how they make those decisions, but hoping that they're doing it with God consciousness and the community all in mind. So again, shouts out to them. So now, Nefertari, let's go on to, one of the biggest things that everybody talks about is relationships, right? So we want to highlight a couple of people that are in the relationship industry. And today we're speaking about Miss Naaila Clay and him as referred to. So this is Hasan and Naaila Clay. They actually are here in Atlanta. They have a couples website, and they do couples counseling. And so the two of them actually met through a job opportunity. And of course, this whole story of how they met and were working together through social work and counseling is actually on their website. So if anyone wanted to go to their website to check that out, Hasan and Naaila Clay, you can always search it in Google and go to their website. But of course, Naaila had graduated with an MS in counseling, and she wanted to basically relocate to Georgia, as she would say, from North Carolina. And people had put her in contact with him. And I believe the story goes where she was kind of describing her ideal man, and he made a joke or something to the effect of like, how did you know that it's me? Or something like that. But anyway, the two of them have been together for a couple of years, and they relate to couples in a special way due to their own, kind of gut-wrenching and prayerful struggles, as they would say it on their website. So within 2 years of their marriage, Hasan lost his eyesight. His blindness taught them the tenacity for forgiveness, trusting in God, and accepting each other. And they just have a wonderful, wonderful story. And right now, currently, they have a book that they've recently produced that you can actually go to their website and pull that book up. And it is called, it's like a pre-marriage booklet. I don't think that I actually put it down, but they have a pre-marriage booklet that you can go to on their site and purchase that. So I'm suggesting anyone who's looking to kind of be pre-married or have some premarital counseling, Hasan and Naaila.com. You can go to their website. Definitely go there, go to the shop section and look up their book, and it is called it is a pre-sale. I'll put that also. It's a Selection Perfection, a rock solid premarital guide for you. Currently $24.99. It is a pre-sale. And so encouraging any and everybody. And also remembering that sometimes just because you may even be married and this book can benefit you, because what it'll also sometimes remind you is why you married the person that you have right now also. So thinking of, if anyone, they have several different types of counseling that they have on their website, going to what services they have on there. So I would suggest you go to there. And then again, it is Hasan, HASAN, ANDNAILA.com, Hasan and Naaila.com. So check them out. I really appreciate all of their videos and their candidness, so yeah, check them out. Nefertari, who do you have on our relationship tip?
Well, I've got somebody who really touches close to home.
Okay.
And that is Dr. Halalah Hazziez.
All right.
A religious counselor. She's my mother, but she's a religious counselor, and she has a focus on family counseling, domestic, and couples counseling. So when we think about marriage, she's written a couple of books. One of the books that I'd like to highlight is one that's called "Do You Have the Sense God Gave a Goose?"
I love it.
When we think about just the whole dynamic of geese and what they represent,
right,
and how they just help each other, it's really a good read. So you can find that book on Amazon.
Okay.
Go to Amazon.com and look about Dr. Halalah Hazziez, or just put the title in. Do you have the sense that God gave a goose? So she got her doctor's degree. It's been some years ago now, and she's helped a lot of families. She's based out of Kansas City, Missouri. And, I just wanted to give a little shout out, a little touch out of information for her on that. And, she's retired from her, she worked for AT&T for many years, and she's retired from that. And so her focus now is on counseling, religious counseling. And so, it's something when you get counseling people and you have a foundation.
Right.
When you talk about religious counseling,
right,
a lot of times, we may seek counseling, and we get counseling from a place where you get a lot of good information. But when you have that foundation of coming from God's word,
right,
it's like a whole nother meaning level to it. And so I know a lot of times, and you get counselors who are out there who just specialize in that area, but not really coming from, especially if you have different people with different religious backgrounds or whatnot, it can sometimes not work out. But her focus is religious counseling. And then, like I said, she does family counseling, domestic counseling for couples, and then just basic marriage counseling for couples. So, and I know she's helped a lot of families, a lot of people. And like I said, she's based out of Kansas City, and you can look up that book, go to Amazon. Do you have sense God gave a goose?
Okay. And also, one thing we also want to know that Hasan and Naaila are also, of course, religious counselors as well. They try to focus on the relationship side. So I think that that's kind of why they may be, they're kind of real talk, right? So they're going to kind of give it to you.
I love their social media too.
Right. So although they are Muslim, they are counselors that are open to any and everybody as well. So just making sure that if you need that counseling, that you're seeking that. There is no shame in needing counseling. There is no shame in needing guidance, because of course we know that there are several books out. Sometimes people aren't able to necessarily translate books even after they read them, but just having an ear or having someone listen to you and maybe share with you their perspective from whatever you're passing off to them is very, very, very valuable. And it's almost integral in terms of how we grow and develop as individuals. So making sure that we want to get those counseling in.
Healthy.
And next, coming to the stage, we have our Muslim youth on the move. This topic to me is so important because we're always talking about, the young people aren't doing anything. I just hear so many negative things sometimes about the young people, what they're not doing, but there are some young people that are doing some things. So we kind of want to highlight really, really quick a few of them. And then, of course, we know that there are a whole bunch out there. But again, we're just choosing to do, what are we doing? 3 or 4 today? We're doing 4 people today. Yeah, 4 people today. And first we want to start off with Miss Ayah Rashid. Ayah Rashid is here, used to be here in Atlanta. She's recently moved because she was recently married. I believe they live in Detroit right now, her and her husband. But Ayah Rashid is a Style Odyssey columnist at Postscript magazine. She is an African-American Muslim woman who's been blessed to travel much over the globe over the years. She has traveled to countries like China, Egypt, Colombia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Oman, Morocco, Jordan, Bali, Gambia, Zanzibar, all of those. And she's also lived in Dubai for 10 years. So her and her family lived in Dubai for 10 years. Then they moved here to Atlanta while, as she entered into high school so that she can graduate from W.D. Muhammad High School. She is the founder of the young clothing company called Sinjab. And I remember both Nefertari and I had an experience with Ayah teaching her how to sew. So, you know, so she would come to my house and learn how to sew because she wanted to be in the fashion show here at Sealed Nectar, as well as going to Nefertari. And of course, Nefertari probably had way more patience than I was just like, yeah, girl, saw that line. Yeah, girl, go straight. You know, but Nef is there teaching her how to make patterns and all of those things. So Sinjab was birthed, and she was also able to feature her first line in the Sealed Nectar fashion show. But from there, she, of course, started going out to all of these different countries. So she focuses on modest fashion, making sure that it's affordable. She has done diversity marketing campaigns. She's also done some segments where she's invited people over to look at some of the fashions and to give their opinion before she even began to market those things. I love that about her. She went back and forth to the East, back and forth to when she was in New York University of Abu Dhabi for her undergraduate degree on a full scholarship. And then she had an intermediate level understanding of Arabic. She can read, write, and understand most dialects. And she graduated with honors with a degree in literature and creative writing with a minor in visual arts. She's currently working in Detroit and as a venture for African-American fellow at a startup company called Citizen Yoga. So Ayah also was recently nominated to be one of the younger youth one of the, you know, upstanding youth that are up and coming. And I forgot exactly what that award was, but she was nominated for that. So definitely wanted to make sure that we highlighted Ayah Rashid. Who's your next person on the list, Nefertari?
Well, you know, this is another one, a youth who is close to home. I actually gave birth to him.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
And you know, we all kind of have our paths. And sometimes as a parent, you kind of see your children as doing a certain thing. And I have 7 of them, and he is number 6 of 7. And so when he came up with the caboose on the end, he was like, I'm not going to college. Like, he just wasn't feeling it, you know. Right. And I was just glad that he was able to tell me that, like, earlier. He was like, you know, I said, well, as long as you continue your education and whatever it is that you do. Well, he has an interest in fashion.
Right.
And kind of reminds me a little bit of, I was hearing Tommy Hilfiger's story, even just today. I'm a part of the 10X Growth Conference with Grant Cardone. And with Tommy Hilfiger, he started his company with $150. And he just started, he bought some jeans and went to another place and he didn't even remake the jeans. He just sold them. So that's how he got started.
Right.
And so listening to his story kind of reminded me of my son. So his name is Naeem Fareed with Nan Couture House. Yeah. He has been going for almost 3 years now. He started a little bit before he finished high school. And when I look at the pathway that he's had, he's just really soared. You know, with me being a fashion designer for many years now, I would say at least 20. I've seen him do things in 3 years that I'm still trying to figure out. So I was like, oh, awesome, especially when it comes to social media and stuff. But he has definitely, you know, a large following on social media platforms. His designs kind of started from streetwear, but he is also interested in more, he's starting to do more working with leathers and more high-end kind of stuff. You know, he's always been into the look and all of that. And so he's kind of changing some things up, but he does a lot of designs and handwork by hand, as well as other. So he is the creative designer for his company. And, you know, he's got a team, of course. And so anyway, luxury brand streetwear is what he does. And so, but outside of just doing fashion and providing gear for people, you know, I'm telling you, they hunt him down, you know, whether they come in here or he's constantly shipping out stuff. It's just really pretty awesome. But they are also doing work in the community as well, where they are feeding the homeless, you know, passing out masks. Of course, you know, we're dealing with COVID still.
Right.
And passing out free clothing, you know, give it, whether it's something that he's made or picking up other garments, so that people, especially going through these winter months, you know, making sure they have coats and jackets. And so I really applaud them. You know, when you have young people who are thinking beyond themselves to
Right.
Doing something that they're passionate about and also trying to help others, is really a great thing. So you can find him on Instagram at Nan Couture House, or find him on Facebook as well. That's Nan Couture House, at Nan Couture House on Instagram.
Excellent, excellent. And you know what's so interesting about Naeem, of course, we all have all of our sons, and our sons are all connected. So one thing I do appreciate about them and their youth, and just their willingness to want to help those less fortunate. So like even during Ramadan, there's probably a group of about 10 young men who regularly during Ramadan, they just get meals and pass them out to the homeless. So I really appreciate that. I know my sons are a part of that. Your sons are a part of that. We have other young women or other women in the community. Their sons are part of that as well. So it's just so good to see that as well. I know a lot of people who kind of don't see the young people at the masjid regularly, but know that they are still doing great work in the community. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. And then
I just wanted to make mention too, you know, I talked about my son with Nan Couture House, but he's actually getting ready to do a collab with one of your sons.
I know, right? Adam. Yeah.
Adam Abdullah. So they are, you know, even like just coming together collectively, you know, working on projects. And so even outside of the design, that, like you said, them being able to work in the community, it'll spin off into other bigger, greater things as well.
Right, right. And Adam, again, also did not want to go to school, but has a big passion. Actually, Naeem and Adam have been passionate about business since they were in third grade. So what happened, a short story really quick, was Adam and Naeem decided to get a whole bunch of junk around the house, and they got the junk and started walking in the neighborhood and sold all the junk to people in the neighborhood. So they had this old computer. This lady had bought it from them. Remember, they came home. They were like, where'd y'all get all this money? And they were like, we were selling stuff in the neighborhood. So that was the onset. Right. That was the onset of their whole business acumen.
The harvest is coming up.
Right. And they also created a book called The Tiger Claw, which actually is on Amazon. Right. So you can still purchase that. They created that book, part 1 and 2. And Adam's line is called The Climax Co. So you can find him on Instagram, as well as theclimaxco.com if you wanted to go to his website. But speaking of, and I know we're highlighting our children, but it's okay, because guess what? They're doing great things. And so speaking of highlighting our children, I wanted to mention my son, Yusuf Abdullah. Yusuf is going to be a Youth on the Move because, number one, he went to Oglethorpe University. And real quick, okay, I know we got all these stories, but he went to Oglethorpe. He actually wanted to go to Kennesaw State University. And I was like, well, Yusuf, you know, if you haven't gotten a letter. Now, Yusuf has always been in the top 10% of his class. He's graduated high honors, basically, and had not received a letter from any university. He was just panicking. So I said, you know what? Guess what? We're going to fill out this Common App, which I recommend all parents do. He filled out the Common App. We sent the application out to 15 different schools here in Georgia. And literally, I was in Morocco, and he texted me, said, Mom, you will not believe I got a full ride scholarship to Oglethorpe University. So thank you so much. Shout out to Oglethorpe University for giving Yusuf that scholarship, because that gave him an opportunity to not only graduate, but he was able to be a part of so many different things. He was on the sports team. And Yusuf, when he was younger, was a part of Ultimate Frisbee. Actually, Ayah also was a part of Ultimate Frisbee. And we don't really hear a lot of young people talking about Ultimate Frisbee, but this is another sport that has great opportunity for our children. So just thinking about, if you want your child to be in another kind of sport ultimate frisbee is something to think about. So Yusuf went to ultimate frisbee through college. He was on several organizations, several groups, and also was drafted by the professional ultimate frisbee team here in Atlanta Hustle, and was a member of the Atlanta Hustle team for 2 or 3 years. And of course, he ended up having to step out because due to a leg injury that he had when he was younger, which basically, I hate to say ended his career, but stopped his career in ultimate frisbee on the professional level. But Yusuf is continuing to stride in the ultimate frisbee community. And currently, he is the leader of a minority ultimate frisbee team. They are on a 10-city tour currently. So if you wanted to see Yusuf on Instagram, he's on there marketing all of these different things. I think I posted today one of the special videos that they had done about basically, hey, we're Black people, ultimate frisbee, but we're also doing social justice. And so what they're talking about is they need people to rally together so that the people who killed Breonna Taylor will be caught. So Yusuf, ultimate frisbee and social justice, he is a Muslim youth on the move. And in addition to that, he is also working at a security company, which he's doing very, very well at. And he's just so great with marketing. So wanted to make sure we give shout out to Yusuf, Muslim youth on the move. Yes.
We just got one more, Jahara. Jahara, she just completed her thesis. You got more information on that?
Yeah, so Jahara actually was a person. She's here in Atlanta. We're going to the Atlanta Masjid. She graduated from Muhammad Schools of Atlanta, then went on to Spelman, did some great things, graduated with honors even from Spelman. And I believe during the pandemic, she decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and continue with my master's degree. And so she has recently completed, and it was accepted, her thesis for her master's degree. And I love Jahara. I probably don't really talk to her that much, but she has some great things going on in terms of like everything that she wants to do for societal justice, just thinking, writing, and all of these different things. So I suggest you all check out Jahara Ferguson because she is an up and coming youth on the move as well. So shout out to the young people.
We love our youth. We love our youth.
Yes, and if you have anyone you want to highlight, hey, you can send it to us as well, because remember, the squeaky wheel gets oiled. So if we're not highlighting our young people, guess what? Nobody else is going to highlight them either. Okay, now moving on to businesses. So we're going to do these really quick. We're going to start out some businesses here. And did you want to talk about the first business?
Yeah, sure. So first we have, many people in Atlanta know this group, Jada Chai Tea Spot. I remember when they first came out, you know, they actually have, I know at least two locations. I'm not sure if it's 3, but they are a family, Alethea and Mariah, an auntie and a niece duo. They were behind the whole idea with Jada Chai. They make these wonderful teas, like, and it's not just something that tastes good. These are things that are ingredients that are like good for your body. Okay. And so it's about the quality of the tea that really pushes them up and out. And so, and for me, you know, I'm not really a big tea drinker, but, you know, I love to just like go over there sometimes just to find out more. You know, occasionally I'll get some tea, but then when I find out what these things can do for me, then I'm like, that makes me even more so, you know. And by the way, we all should really have like our tea time. Like, that's just like your me time. It's really important to do that.
Right. That part.
So, I
said that part.
Yes. So this company began out of love, you know, just the care and passion that they really have for people outside of themselves and their families, and want, you know, when you find something that's good, and then you start with yourself and you start with your family, it's like, you know, we have to put this out so other people can get it. And so this was their thing. So they were very passionate about that. And just living well and a healthy lifestyle was like top of the list for them. So for many years, blending and making teas and Arnold Palmer's, you know, we all love that, with a little twist of this and that during their family Sunday dinners and small gatherings that they had. This is where Jada Chai was born, from that idea. And so they were established in 2016, and they opened up their first brick and mortar in Atlanta back in 2017. And their second location in East Atlanta. And so this is a location where, like I said, you can go get your good stuff. And not only can you go there and get your tea, you can also, they have tea package where you can take your stuff home.
Yes.
Be able to, make your little tea spot, and make your little stuff up. Fill yourself up with all of those good things. Look, and I don't know, I'm not a health fanatic, but I love healthy stuff, and so I can't even begin to tell you what some of the stuff is that's in it. But just practicing some of that self-love and that self-care and self-development, these are some of the things that they are really pushing with having this company. So sip on your tea, try to sip on your tea 2-3 times a week if you're not a tea drinker like me. And they are right now celebrating 4 years, and so shout out for Jada Chai celebrating 4 years. And so I know one of their locations is next to the Atlanta Masjid. And it's inside of Spring Greens Cafe is, both of them. So they have a side focusing on the tea, and then you've got the food. So go out and give your business to both of them. And that's off of Fayetteville Road.
That's right. That's right. And now we're going to talk about something that may be a little bit controversial, but Snacklins. Has anyone heard of the Snacklin snack? So
not until today.
Right, not until today. So Snacklins is it was basically unceremoniously born in the back of a kitchen in Washington, D.C. barbecue joint, because sometime in basically 2015. So a former radio personality, chef Sammy Korbowski, basically became obsessed with the idea of a meat-free pork rind after joking with a friend about his inability to partake in the snack, the classic snack, because of his Muslim upbringing. So he's a Muslim, Sammy's a Muslim, and I wonder if his name is Shamsuddin, but his name, Sammy is his name. And so he decides, you know what, I'm Muslim, I can't eat pork rinds, but I'm going to create a pork rind for Muslims, or create a pork rind that is meat-free and pork-free. And so what he did, he gathered a recipe of yuca, mushrooms, and onions to create this crunchy, airy, 100% vegan, plant-based rind, right? And so it resembles a pork rind, but of course it is 100% vegan. And some people will be like, well, I don't know about all that. But what happened was he took his concept to Shark Tank. And on Shark Tank, Mark Cuban invested $25,000 in Snacklins. And now Snacklins is all over the place, right? Everybody is eating Snacklins, right? And so now I was like, I've never personally had any pork. I don't know what pork rinds taste like. But as much as people that are pork rind eaters are now eating Snacklins, he's becoming a multi-millionaire. So shout out to Sammy.
Well, I like crunchy stuff, so I can imagine that I like it. I like the crunchy stuff.
So make sure everybody, if you want to go, they said that Snacklins are made at our snackatory using real and fresh vegetables. So if you want to try that, make sure you go to snacklins.com to get your snack rind attack.
Well, let me tell you about another company that, I know that may be one that they didn't know well about with the snack, with the rind, vegetable rinds.
Right.
Edible Arrangements. Edible Arrangements is actually a Muslim-owned business. We've all heard of them. And not only are they a business, but they are a franchise. So we see Edible Arrangements all over the place. So they were combining, specializing in fresh fruit arrangements, of course. And I've seen some beautiful, beautiful arrangements. And of course, we know the fruit actually tastes really good too.
Right.
So they combine those concepts together to create fruit baskets and designs and certain, and I'm into designing anyway. And so I'm really oh, wow about this company, because it's you're actually designing something. When I first started out Queen's Creations, it was flower arrangements years ago. And so, but being able to actually design something like this that you actually just pick off and eat, I'm like, wow. So this company was founded by Tariq Farid and Cameron Farid. And the first edible arrangement store was opened in East Haven, Connecticut back in 1999.
Yeah.
And so that I'm like, wow, they've been around for a good little while.
Right.
Yeah. So they began franchising. Now the company started in 1999, but they started franchising, developing that concept in 2001. So we've been a good 20 years for that. And so they started opening up in Massachusetts, and I think at first for for their first franchise. However, they had another one in Connecticut. And so now we see them all over, you know, and especially nowadays, one of the really very important things is being able to get your stuff delivered.
Okay.
And so that's another thing that they're doing really great with, being able to capitalize. Like, not only are you taking these fruits and putting them together in different arrangements, but you also have delivery. So that's really great. So in 2009, Edible Arrangements, they announced the signing of the master franchisee agreement in Rome and Italy and Hong Kong.
Right.
So not only are they here in America, you know, nationwide, they are all over the place. So woo, this is like really exciting. Kudos. Yeah. And so let's see, they purchased, let me see, I mentioned Hong Kong. Additionally, in 2009, an agreement was also signed with the brothers Camille and Amir Hayden. They plan to develop 15 locations in Turkey.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And so then the agreements for more than 85 locations in the United States and internationally, totaling a number of 940 units. So they are really all over the place. So, you know, once you get your business up and going, you know, and I was thinking about Jada Chai, I know that's one of the things that they're really striving to do too, is to, you know, develop different businesses all around. And, you know, they're starting here in Atlanta, but just start, you know, when you get your business to a certain point, it's all about developing a system. You know, once you develop the system, put your plans in place, and you can start, you know, if that's something that you know, wish to do. Franchising is like, you know, it's really great.
Right. And speaking of local franchise, also, don't forget about Supreme Burger, who is also a local franchise here in Atlanta. The owner is Waleed Shamsuddin. Great burger company. If you're interested in having something, and they are, you know, they also have social and political things incorporated into their brand as well. So if you're looking for a local franchise as well, look into Supreme Burger, which is Supreme Foods International. Really quick. Okay.
And Supreme Fish Delight, which started before the Supreme Burger. Well, I don't know, when they tell their story, really Supreme Burger came and left and came back again. But they do have really good burgers, and they have different burgers: turkey burgers, lamb burgers, beef burgers. They've really done a lot this year. In the past year, even with COVID, you know, they've served a lot of seniors, gave them free meals, and they're really doing a lot of great things. And you can find them and get more information on Supreme Burger on Facebook and Instagram. I know they have a movement going on right now where they're looking to get a $50,000 grant for some things in motion. So shout out to
them.
Supreme Burger.
For them. They need their vote. They need your vote to get that grant and that scholarship opportunity coming up.
Yes.
All right. And last but not least, we always have to talk about community service organizations, social services, and community nonprofit organizations, because guess what? The world exists with social services. The world moves with small businesses. We know that in every community, there is no community that does not exist without small businesses and social services. It's just part of who we are. So the first organization that I would like to highlight is EMAN. EMAN is the Inner City Muslim Action Network. EMAN is a community organization that fosters health, wellness, and the healing in the inner city by organizing for social change, cultivating the arts, and operating a holistic health center. EMAN Incorporated is a nonprofit organization. In 1997, they had a drive of people directly affected by and deeply invested in the social issues affecting their community of color living in Chicago's South Side. So since that time, EMAN has steadily grown. And in 2016, they actually opened an office here in Atlanta, which is ran by Mansour Sabri. And February 27th, shout out Mansour Sabri, that was your birthday. But anyway, so the organization models an integrative approach that employs holistic interventions to address a spectrum of structural and systemic injustices, incorporating primary behavioral and oral health. We know that oral health is important. People kind of sometimes forget about the teeth, but the teeth lead to the heart, which can lead to heart attacks. So making sure that your oral health is in check. And they also focus on that. They also focus on artistic expression, leadership development, organizing and advocacy programming. I know that I received a certification through a program where EMAN sponsored a mental health first aid certification, and I was able to receive my certification for that. They also focus on housing and job training, and in an effort to sustainably increase the quality of life for people in marginalized communities. And we know that the marginalized communities are always the minorities. And so being Muslim, being Black, we're a part of that marginalized community. So making sure that you reach out to EMAN, some of the great programs that they're doing. Of course, they have the program where they take people who recently come out of prison and basically, set them up where they can work, they can find housing, and they can get into a flow of being able to have job opportunities. So if you know anyone that needs that particular thing, reach out to a man here in Atlanta and or in Chicago. Yes.
Well, let me tell you, EMAN is here based in Atlanta, and we also have another organization here in Atlanta, Sisters United and Human Services. And Sisters United has been around for a long time, but I personally became a member of Sisters United just last year.
Hey, welcome, because I'm a part of Sisters United
too. Yeah, so with us both being members of Sisters United, we definitely want to be able to highlight Sisters United. They were founded in 1998 by a group of 14 sisters. These 14 sisters come from a diverse group of backgrounds. And they just pretty much wanted to come together, just humbly and sincerely, to serve Allah through serving mankind. Yeah. And so over the years, many other sisters have come into the organization. They collaborated just to ensure that the mission and the vision was carried out. I know from the original group of those 14 sisters, some of them have passed away. May Allah bless them, forgive them their sins and bless them with paradise. And they have really left a wonderful thing to just keep going from generation to generation. And so there are, we have a host of volunteers with Sisters United, community leaders, business owners who have joined with the organization to support in the endeavors, just with this wonderful journey outreach program. So some of the things that Sisters United, some of the things that we do is we have like weekly feedings. Well, we've done that for many years, and I would say with COVID, some of those things had to kind of get paused. And so just thinking of other creative ways to be able to reach the homeless and the hungry. Investment scholarships, providing scholarships to students who mainly those that are graduating from high school, going into college, providing monies for them, encouraging them to keep doing great works of what they're doing. We have interfaith and human service conferences annually. Of course, in this past year, we took things virtually, which was a very, very good conference. Even before I joined Sisters United, I love the health and human service conferences. You really can go and you learn a lot of information. I remember one year it was even knowing about your blood type, like, there's a certain way that you eat for that. And so you always can go and get good stuff. Like it's almost kind of like that annual get myself in check kind of thing. So Right to Unta is also another thing, becoming a virtuous woman program that Sisters United has, which is actually getting ready to, this is that time of year where that is going on. And this is where you have the youth, girls who go through a particular training over a period of weeks and then come out on the other end, even greater than they are, get to graduate. So alhamdulillah, that program is still going good. And just having community educational forums, neighborly needs, clothing network support. And so this is something where you're able to just give to the needy. It kind of goes back to serving. And then educators and graduate recognition. Every year, we know everybody's got graduates somewhere. Right. And so not only are they encouraging people and trying to help people and develop and giving them scholarships to be able to matriculate through college, they're also highlighting the educators and those who are graduating at the end of the year, giving them recognition. And so that's really a great thing. You know, it's nothing like, you know, you go through all that hard work, whether that's high school, middle school, college, you know, and then even as an educator, you know, we have to have the educators in order to get through that. So being able to highlight those teachers who are going through that, and their leadership training. Right. And so those are some of the things that, you know, Sisters United does. And so, you know, we definitely invite others out to be able to support and participate in the journey. You know, the mission is pretty much working for the pleasure of Allah and everything that it is that we do. And we just want to inspire others to join the ranks, you know, become a volunteer. You can go to Sisters United website. And Naima, if you wanted to add anything else to it, because I know she's been with Sisters United a lot longer than I have. I would say before I got with Sisters United for many years, I was with the League of Muslim Women.
And I was right there with you with that. I wasn't a member, but whatever you were doing, I was helping you. Yeah. So currently, we do want to let people know that the UMA Investment Scholarship is currently open, accepting applications. And of course, you can go to sistersunited.org in order to apply for that. And the Rights of UNTA program is an 8-week session, and it's currently accepting young girls ages 13 to 17. That application is also open, and it will be closing soon. So if you know anybody in the United States, anywhere in the world really, and you would like your daughter to be a part of a Virtuous Woman program, enroll her now. This is your opportunity to be able to put her in a program, and it's virtual this year. So this is going to be
so amazing. Like, it's like well beyond Atlanta now.
Right,
you know, that's the beauty of that.
Because I know sometimes in the past people have been like, oh man, I wish I lived in Atlanta so I could put my daughter in that program. Well, guess what? Now you can. So we want to encourage everyone to do that for the Rights of UNTA program. And again, it is closing soon. So make sure that you do that as soon as possible. But we're coming to an end of our program today. So excited to be able to highlight all of those various aspects of business, relationship counseling, Muslim youth on the move, new businesses, politicians, all of those great things that we have in the community. And of course, again, remembering that no one knows anything unless you highlight it. So again, you win, we win when we highlight each other and other organizations and businesses. And we can't sit back saying, oh, they don't say anything about Muslims and they don't say anything about this person. Well, guess what? Highlight it. They only know if we speak it. So before speaking it, I wanted to talk about something that's coming up again here in Atlanta in the Sealed Nectar Fashion Show. Yes, I am plugging the fashion show again. It will be here in July of 2021. So again, it will be virtual. We're asking everybody to make sure that you go online to get those tickets. Tickets will be going on sale hopefully this coming week. And then and also thinking about if you are a designer and you've never been a part of the Sealed Nectar Fashion Show experience, we're looking for designers. You can email us sealednectar@atlantamaster.com. This again is a fundraiser. So all monies will be going directly to the Atlanta Master of Al-Islam, and it helps to continue with all of the programming that we have there. I know that Nefertari is really excited. She's always been a beautiful, beautiful designer, highlighting her fashions and supporting us through that effort by not just being a designer, but, you know, all of the monies that she, basically donates to us goes toward the fashion show fundraiser. So
a good cause.
Yes, that's a great.
Well, you know, one of the things I wanted to mention too, definitely I have enjoyed the Sealed Nectar show for many, many years. I remember when you talked about Ayah earlier coming on and having her first debut. I remember when I had my first one was actually with Sealed Nectar, what was called Celebration then. And I was living in Kansas City and put my clothes in the big box to ship for them to do all of that. And I'm like, boy, time has gone by. But when we think about highlighting our designers and highlighting people in business, one of the things I just wanted to make note of is that we want to continue this with Crown Nation.
Yes.
And Crown Nation is our kings and our queens.
Yes.
And we want to be able to continue that. And one of the things I wanted to point out with Naima on her social media in the past month for February is that she highlighted different business owners or people, even people who are whatever they were in their field. And I think that was really good. And so that's one of the things that we want to do. So definitely send us your information in, like she said, if we don't speak up and speak out about whoever it is that we know and what we do, then who else is going to do it, So we definitely want to do that, and shout out to Silneck. Let me tell you, last year when COVID happened, and it was like, oh, is the show going to be canceled? And what are we going to do? How are we going to do it?
Right.
And then Naima and the team started doing their thing and said, we're going to have the show. It's going to be virtual. And I believe it was free. It was a free show.
Free. Yes, it was free. We just accepted donations.
Yes. So that was really awesome. And at that time, we were like we're almost a whole year into it where this is becoming the norm. And so a lot of people have definitely grown on the internet and virtually just doing events and having things and taking it to another level. And so we will be doing that. And I'm saying we because I'm a designer, but we will be doing that.
I got my slide.
We will be doing it virtually this year. I definitely look forward to that. And I would just say, as a designer, I look forward to participating with Sil Nectar as much as possible, because they really have contributed, I feel like, to my growth and development as a designer over the years as well. And so, and I would say many have, and Naima mentioned, we definitely encourage new designers to come in. We definitely look for that as well.
Yes. And also remembering, we are the longest standing fashion show in the Muslim community. This will be the 35th annual fashion show for the Atlanta Masjid. Starting off with celebration, moving into Sil Nectar, the legacy continues. So we hope to see all of you online. But Crown Nation, don't forget to follow us, Rock the Crown, on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like us on Facebook, and make sure that you join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. because we will have our shows right here, right now. All right, until next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you, Crown Nation. Love you. Peace.
Peace.